Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the dark and mysterious world of the top 5 most dangerous religions. We're talking about beliefs and practices so intense, so out there that they've left a trail of shock and awe in their wake. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will shock you. We're going deep down the rabbit hole, exploring the history, the beliefs, and the downright terrifying events that have made these religions infamous. Buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a wild ride. Scientology, man. It's like this weird mix of science fiction and therapy, but with a seriously dark underbelly. Founded by L. Ron Hubbard, a science fiction writer, this ain't your grandma's religion. They believe in these things called thetans, which are like alien spirits trapped in our bodies. Sounds kinda out there, right? But it gets crazier. Scientology has been accused of some seriously shady stuff like brainwashing, exploiting its members, and silencing critics. They've got this whole internal justice system that's super secretive and allegedly uses intimidation tactics. People who have escaped the church have spoken out about the abuse they endured, and it's chilling, man. One of the most controversial aspects of Scientology is their belief in disconnection. Basically, if a member criticizes the church or tries to leave, they're cut off from their family and friends who are still in the church. Imagine being completely isolated from everyone you love just because you question something. It's messed up, man. Aum Shinrikyo. This Japanese cult is the stuff of nightmares. Founded in 1984 by Shoko Asahara, it started as a small spiritual group but quickly morphed into something far more sinister. These guys weren't messing around with just weird beliefs. They were straight-up terrorists. They combined elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, and apocalyptic Christian prophecies to create a dangerous ideology. Their leader, Shoko Asahara, was a charismatic but deeply disturbed individual who claimed to be some kind of god. He presented himself as a messianic figure promising salvation to his followers. He convinced his followers that the apocalypse was coming, and that they needed to purify the world through violence. This belief led them to stockpile weapons and even develop chemical and biological weapons. In 1995, Aum Shinrikyo carried out a horrific sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway system. This wasn't their first act of violence, but it was by far the most devastating. They released this deadly nerve gas during rush hour, killing 13 people and injuring thousands more. The attack was meticulously planned to cause maximum chaos and fear. It was a terrifying act of terrorism that shocked the world. The sheer scale of the attack and the fact that it happened in a major city like Tokyo made it all the more horrifying. Asahara and several members were arrested and sentenced, but the cult still exists today, albeit under a different name. They have rebranded themselves, but their dark legacy remains. What's even more disturbing is that Aum Shinrikyo attracted a lot of intelligent and educated people. This wasn't a group of fringe lunatics. They had members who were well respected in their fields. They had scientists, doctors, even lawyers in their ranks. These were people who, under normal circumstances, would be considered rational and logical. It just goes to show that anyone can be susceptible to cult influence, no matter how smart or rational they may seem. The allure of belonging to something greater, combined with the persuasive power of a charismatic leader, can lead even the most intelligent individuals down a dark path. Asahara's teachings were filled with apocalyptic visions and promises of spiritual enlightenment. He used fear and manipulation to control his followers, convincing them that they were chosen to save the world. The cult members underwent rigorous training, both physically and mentally. They were prepared to carry out Asahara's orders without question, believing that their actions were justified. After the Tokyo subway attack, Japanese authorities cracked down on Aum Shinrikyo, raiding their compounds and confiscating weapons. The scale of their operations was staggering, revealing just how dangerous they had become. The victims of the Tokyo subway attack are remembered every year, a somber reminder of the horrors that Aum Shinrikyo inflicted. Their legacy is a cautionary tale about the dangers of extremist beliefs and the power of charismatic leaders. The People's Temple, led by Jim Jones, is a chilling example of how charismatic leadership can turn deadly. Jones started out preaching about social justice and equality, attracting a diverse following in the 1950s and 60s. But as time went on, he became increasingly controlling and paranoid, isolating his followers in a remote compound in Guyana called Jonestown. Jones demanded absolute obedience and instilled fear in his followers, claiming the outside world was full of evil and that only he could protect them. He convinced them to participate in suicide drills, drinking Flavor Aid laced with poison, to prepare for what he called revolutionary suicide. Tragically, in 1978, Jones ordered his followers to drink cyanide-laced Flavor Aid, resulting in the deaths of over 900 people, including over 300 children. The Jonestown Massacre remains one of the most horrifying examples of cult suicide in history. It's a stark reminder of the dangers of blind faith and the importance of critical thinking, even when a charismatic leader promises salvation. Heaven's Gate, man, talk about a wild ride. This was a group that took the concept of extraterrestrial life and spiritual ascension to a whole new level, blending science fiction with their own unique brand of spirituality. These guys believed that the Hale-Bopp comet was a sign that it was time to leave their earthly bodies behind and ascend to a higher level of existence. They saw the comet as a cosmic signal, a beacon calling them to a new beginning beyond the stars. They called it exiting their vehicles being their human forms. This wasn't just a metaphor for them, it was a literal belief that their bodies were mere vessels for their true selves, which were destined for a higher plane of existence. And they were convinced that a spaceship was trailing the comet, waiting to pick them up. This spaceship, they believed, was their ticket to the next level, a place free from the suffering and limitations of earthly life. Led by Marshall Applewhite, a former music professor, and Bonnie Nettles, a nurse, they lived a highly regimented life, renouncing all earthly possessions and even undergoing castration to achieve spiritual purity. Their leaders were charismatic and persuasive, convincing their followers that extreme measures were necessary for their spiritual journey. In 1997, as the Hale-Bopp comet reached its closest point to Earth, 39 members of Heaven's Gate committed suicide in a mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, California. This mass suicide was meticulously planned, with members leaving behind farewell videos and messages explaining their actions. They believed that by ending their lives, they would shed their physical forms and board the alien spaceship. This act, they thought, would allow them to transcend the human experience and join a higher cosmic order. It's a tragic story of delusion and the dangers of groupthink. The Heaven's Gate members were so deeply entrenched in their beliefs that they couldn't see the reality of their situation, leading to a heartbreaking end. These were people who were desperately seeking meaning and purpose in life, and they were willing to go to extreme lengths to find it. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the power of charismatic leaders and the human desire for connection and transcendence. It's a reminder of how vulnerable we can be when searching for answers in a complex and often confusing world. In the end, the Heaven's Gate tragedy underscores the importance of critical thinking and the need for supportive communities that encourage healthy exploration of spiritual and existential questions. While their journey ended in sorrow, it also highlights the universal quest for understanding and the lengths to which people will go to find their place in the universe. The Order of the Solar Temple. This group was all about fire, sacrifice, and a twisted interpretation of ancient rituals. Their practices were shrouded in secrecy and mysticism, drawing in followers who were searching for meaning and purpose in a chaotic world. Founded in the 1980s by Joseph DiMambro and Luc Jouret, they believed in a coming apocalypse and the need to purify the world through fire. DiMambro, a charismatic leader, and Jouret, a homeopathic doctor, combined their influence to create a powerful and dangerous cult. They preached that only through fire could the world be cleansed of its impurities, and that their followers would be the chosen ones to lead humanity into a new era. They were obsessed with the Knights Templar and believed they were carrying on their legacy. The Knights Templar, a medieval Christian military order, were known for their secretive nature and their supposed hidden knowledge. DiMambro and Jouret claimed to have access to this ancient wisdom, using it to justify their extreme actions and to manipulate their followers into blind obedience. Over the years, the Order of the Solar Temple was linked to a series of arson attacks and murders. These acts of violence were seen as necessary steps in their mission to purify the world. The group's members were willing to go to any lengths, including taking innocent lives, to achieve their apocalyptic vision. The authorities struggled to keep up with the group's clandestine activities, often arriving too late to prevent the tragedies. They believed that death by fire was a form of spiritual purification and a way to reach a higher plane of existence. This belief was deeply ingrained in their rituals, which often involved elaborate ceremonies centered around fire. Followers were taught that by embracing the flames, they would be cleansed of their earthly sins and ascend to a higher spiritual realm. This promise of transcendence was a powerful motivator, leading many to willingly participate in the group's deadly practices. In 1994, 48 members of the group were found dead in Switzerland and Canada, victims of a mass suicide orchestrated by DiMambro and Jouret. This tragic event shocked the world and brought the group's dark activities into the spotlight. The bodies were discovered in remote locations, arranged in ritualistic patterns that reflected the group's obsession with symbolism and ceremony. The mass suicide was a final, horrific act of devotion to their leader's twisted vision. They were dressed in ceremonial robes and arranged in a star formation, some with gunshot wounds and plastic bags over their heads. This gruesome scene was a stark reminder of the group's willingness to sacrifice everything for their beliefs. The star formation, a symbol of their supposed divine mission, added a chilling layer of meaning to the already horrifying sight. Investigators were left to piece together the events that led to this tragic end, uncovering a web of manipulation, control, and fanaticism. The Order of the Solar Temple's story is a dark and disturbing one, filled with violence, delusion, and a dangerous fascination with death. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind faith and the power of charismatic leaders to exploit vulnerable individuals. The group's legacy is a haunting reminder of the potential for human beliefs to be twisted into something deadly and destructive. It's a reminder that even in the modern world, ancient beliefs and rituals can be twisted and manipulated to justify horrific acts. The story of the Order of the Solar Temple highlights the importance of critical thinking and the need to question those who claim to have all the answers. In a world where ancient and modern beliefs often collide, it is crucial to remain vigilant and to recognize the potential for darkness that can lurk behind even the most seemingly benign ideologies. Thanks for watching. If you found this video as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more intriguing content. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.